It's not often that I have the pleasure of speaking to someone who's gone up in space and seen that perspective of planet Earth, and then of course dove down deep into the ocean. And of course, on top of that, you were the head of NOAA. So I really want to ask a very simple question, a question about something that's very important to all of us on the planet, climate change. How is climate change impacting the oceans? We don't hear that talk too much.
The ocean is far too left out of most conversations about climate. And there are a couple of reasons that I would cite. One is in terms of really understanding climate change and developing the scientific capability to make better forecasts of what's coming at us when. You can't do that unless you have a lot of data from the ocean. The climate system is the interaction of the sun, the atmosphere, and the ocean. That's what produces climate.
Oceans absorb a lot of solar energy from the sun, and ocean currents carry this heat all around the globe. Remember, oceans cover over 70% of the Earth's surface. As the currents carry this heat around the globe, they are regulating climate. Just as the heart sustains the body by controlling the circulation of blood, the oceans are sort of like the climate's heart, sustaining it by controlling the circulation of things like heat and humidity.
If you're talking today and tomorrow, you're talking weather. If you're talking longer than 2 weeks or a month, you're talking climate. It's the longer term patterns of that stuff. And it's the sun, the atmosphere, and the ocean. But on the planet, it's mainly the ocean that drives that. So we've got to be sure we're taking the right amount of data on the ocean and about the ocean if we're going to have the kind of forecast, predictive capability that can help us get ready. So the ocean is actually physically expanding a bit. That's a fairly small effect. It's helping to absorb about half of the excess carbon dioxide that goes into the atmosphere because the ocean is a big carbon pump. So it's been helping us, it's been protecting us in a sense from the excess CO2. It's gonna run out of the room to do that. It will absorb so much CO2 at some point it can't absorb anymore. Here's the thing that is most commonly forgotten and most, I think, worrisome to me and should be to all of us. You put more CO2 in the ocean, you make the water slightly more acidic. How does the food chain of the ocean work? And it goes from little organisms up to bigger and bigger organisms, right? The bulk of the little organisms make small shells out of calcium carbonate, like seashells, but miniature. And that stuff will dissolve if the water gets too acidic. So making the ocean more acidic by shoving more carbon dioxide into it risks making it a weak acid soup that we might not notice when we go swimming at the seashore. But the critters that are, they're the grass in the meadow that everything else in the ocean feeds off of. They might die out because they can't make their shells.
So you're in the space shuttle, you have that view that just a few people have of our dear planet Earth. With that perspective in particular, what would you say about what the public really needs to understand about climate change and why should we care about climate change? From, again, the perspective of the astronaut looking down at our beautiful blue planet.
What you should understand is that you need to be thinking like an astronaut. And you need to be looking after and maintaining your life support system. And that is the ocean and the atmosphere. Every other breath you take, that oxygen came from the ocean, from the living organisms in the ocean. There is no form of life anywhere on this planet that is disconnected from the ocean. And there's really nowhere anywhere on this planet that's disconnected from everywhere else. If you pick up like that little critter that you saw swimming up through the camera in our video, if you manage to catch that guy and bring him up to the surface and study him scientifically, odds are you would find microplastics in his gut. Marianas Trench is hundreds of miles from any little speck of land, and it's the deepest place in the ocean. If there's anywhere you might think couldn't possibly show any sign of the hand of man, couldn't possibly have any connection to you sitting here in Columbus, Ohio, it does.
Listen, you heard it here first from 1 out of 7.7 billion people on the planet, literally the only person who can claim expertise from space to the bottom of the depths. Climate change is important, and every little thing we do matters on that. Thank you so much, Dr. Sullivan.